Hello everybody, this is Drmcbrick and this is the Bricklink AFOL Special Edition Retro Bowling Alley. Now, it is designed amazingly and it is a beautiful, beautiful work of art and a wonderful mock. However, you know me, I like to make things my own and I am going to mock this up. As a matter of fact, I'm going to make some changes to it that I think will make it even better. So, cue the music. Let's get started. Okay, so before we get started, the first thing I want to do is say that this is an awesome set. And you know exactly what I'm talking about, the AFOL Bricklink program, the retro bowling alley that came out. I finally got my set after about a year and a half almost, and it is really, really awesome. I don't know, ordered like, I think I'm number 2,302 on the set, and I know they produced some more of these because they were very people liked them. So I want to tell the designer, Avola, I'm not sure how to say the name exactly, but you did a great job of mocking this up, and a great job. This is an excellent mock. It's perfect as it is, but you know me, and anyone who's watched my channel knows that I like to make things my own for my own city, Figsdale. And I want to put this bowling alley into Figsdale. But I also created a bowling alley many moons ago, and I would like to take the best of my bowling alley and to put it in here and to mock it up and to mesh it together so that it suits the needs for my city. So please don't take this as an insult. Please take it as a form of flattery. I think this is a great set. I ordered this set specifically so that I can add a few touches to it to make it part of my city. So I have my final version made. Now I've made some tweaks to this and you can see them as we go along. I'll point them out, but I've tried to stay true to the model and to the mock designer's build. There were a few things that made me add onto it, a few differences that I put in, just to kind of what I thought may have been just a little bit of improvement, and also it made it best for my city. The first thing that made it best for my city was to, instead of have Dave's Cafe up here in the circles, I put the printed tile that says Fig Lanes in the sign. And now this sign, I assume the mock builder was going toward a Googie style. You can look that up. It's a great architectural style of the 50s that really had things bright and bold and kind of space age. And you know, you had bolster bricks on the sides of things. You had this kind of wing looking, that's back when the cars had huge tail wings on them and all kinds of stuff. A lot of diamond patterns, a lot of color, different colors, as you see in the turquoise and the red. You see the diamond patterns on the walls there leading up to the bowling alley. A lot of bowling alleys back in the day had these. Some of them still do have these kind of these tiles on the sides of the building. And a lot of times you did have huge bowling pins or something that showed that it was a bowling alley outside of it. Now this is a very big bowling alley. So this would have been, back in the day, this would have been a huge bowling alley. And it would have been something that a lot of people would have gone to, kind of as a bowling palace looking type of thing. It reminds me of when I was a kid, there used to be a place called Aquamarine Bowling Alley in the town in which I grew up, and it was very much of a Googie architectural style. This to me is kind of modern Googie fusion, modern retro fusion, because there are a lot of modern things as part of it, but yet it's styled very retro-like. So I'm just going to kind of keep going around and show you a little bit. Let me show you about this roof here. I just love the way the mock builder built this roof, and you can see how detailed it is, even to the point of having powder coated pipes and vents and things like that. I really think that Lego and the mock designer went all out with this model. Now, yes, it was a little pricey, but you know what? This thing has already gone up 2 or 3-fold in price on the secondary market already. And I have a feeling that if you didn't get this, you probably will be regretting it by the time this video ends and by the time you watch other videos. But I mean, just the fact that they made these in powder coat silver instead of just regular gray or white or whatever, just the detail, the attention to detail is very, very clean, and a wonderful street level here that you can add to any city. And it, with the turquoise and everything, it particularly goes with the diner modular that came out a few years ago. Around the sides, the mock builder has done a nice job of putting some vine work up there, some vines growing on the side of the building. The brickwork is done very nicely using a combination of plates and the masonry bricks. And of course, there's a lot of kind of what I like to call greebling on the roof in terms of the HVAC system, and down here and on the sides and the back in terms of the air condition and the pressure valves and all kinds of stuff, which I'd love to see on mocks. Around back, you have various pressure gauges. You have a ladder on which you can climb up into the roof, and to get to some of the boxes that lead to, well, it looks like some bowling balls up there, which is kind of a nice little Easter egg, I guess. The door here leads to the kitchen, and so this leads into the kitchen, and we will show you that in a few. But the mock builder has done a great job. Even just the detail of placing a couple masonry bricks every so often have done a wonderful job. The designers, all that sort of thing. Oop, my roof isn't pressed down completely because I'm going to be taking it off here for you in a minute. But you can see the theme of the diamonds and the posts goes all the way across on both sides, on the front and the back, and then every corner has these bricks and these bolster kind of winglets here, that sort of thing. We go around this side, we can see again some more vine work, very nicely done. The brickwork very nicely done with plates. You can see the white stripe that goes all the way around here. It's just built fabulously. A lot of tiles go onto the roof, and so it gives you that three-dimensional look. And I apologize if my tiles aren't exactly straight. That's the one thing about this. It is kind of hard to get all the tiles, and I'm sorry about the camera. It is hard to get all of the tiles as you see how they're put together. All of them nice and straight and everything like that on the roof. But you can do it, and as you can see, I've done my best as well. Now, let's take a look inside. So as we open the doors to the inside, you see that there's tile on the floor. Very nicely done. Very nicely done. And the tile looks great, if you ask me. It's done in a pattern that's very retro looking. The orange seats really pop the color. And what I did was this, and I mentioned this before, this model came completely flat and completely like a sheet of glass. It was all tiled, and it is all tiled. However, it had no places for the minifigs to stand. So what I did was I strategically tried to find where the minifigs might be standing, and I added studs. And this way, a minifig can stand there, and if you move it, the minifig doesn't fall over. So I've got some here in front of the game machine that they can stand and play the games. I've got some over here so that they can, they can stand here. They can stand over here. My legs are bending. I can't do it. There we go. We'll just keep her there. And so I wanted to make sure I added those. You have game machines over here. You have a nice driving game machine, and these game machines are made very nicely. And they're nothing major, nothing too detailed or anything. You can pop them out. They're on jumpers, and they're just made with regular bricks, regular parts. Some suds or suds. The suds. Speaking of suds, there's studs on the side construction in those. But speaking of suds, this is the kitchen. And this kitchen is really, really neat. Look at the hot dogs down there. You have special condiments such as ketchup and mustard and things like that. Now, anybody who's been bowling will know that usually not only do they serve milk and orange juice and espresso, but yeah, they usually serve some kind of beverage. Let's just say maybe it's a beverage that you would put an olive in, or it's a beverage that maybe looks like ginger ale or apple juice, for instance. Comes in a bottle, but they will serve those. Now, of course, Lego didn't put that in there, but you can imagine that this would be a bar type of cafe in a bowling alley. Now, I've spent a lot of time in bowling alleys as a kid, growing up. My dad bowled, my grandma bowled, my whole family bowled. I was on a league, did all kinds of stuff, and I always loved going and getting food made at the bar in the kitchen in the bowling alley. For some reason, it was just greasy and good. Now, of course, I didn't partake in any beverages, but I always had some sodas. So anyway, so you can see where I added the studs. I added the studs because I thought that would be the best thing. The one thing about having this be all tile, it looks great as a display piece, but as a play piece, it's kind of hard because you don't have anywhere to attach your figures. So you see, even down there behind the counter, I added a stud so somebody who wanted to work at the counter and sell shoes, which I don't have. And this is what they use as shoes here. They give you 4 of these, and you just set those in there. But you can see if you jostle it around too much, the shoes just they just fall off, and that's the end of the shoes. So anyway, I thought about putting something up there with studs and some jumpers, but I just decided not to. I put a mug down there. I think there was a ticket in the actual model, and I changed the cash register because the cash register was not printed, and it was simulating a cash register. This one here has the keyboard, the computers, terminals, some of the cash keys and things like that. And that way, the person who is working behind there, let's just put them behind there. Let's see if I can get them to stand back there on that stud. There we go. The person, she's all bent over. Oh, here we go. There we go. Anyway, the person who's working back there, that way, you know, they can use the cash register for real. Now, I changed the alleys up, and this is one of the main things that I changed. This is the main thing that I changed. This is a beautiful alley, and I have to give the designers credit. And again, this is flattering them, not disparaging them in any way. But one of the things that I noticed was that all of this was all flat, and it was all glass. There were no studs anywhere on the alleys or anywhere. And then the gutters were the same height as the alleyways. And, you know, in bowling, gutters are not the same height. The gutters are the gutters. They're below, right? So there's a 3D type of effect that needed to be done. Now, I understand for cost purposes and all that kind of stuff, but all I did was raise the alley by 1 plate, and then that way it was more like a real bowling alley where you have to actually step up onto the bowling alley. And then let's get a figure over here. So this way you get a much more realistic of someone bowling. Now, you can stick them to the lanes there, or you could take a ball. Let's just grab a ball off the rack here, and we can put a ball there, and then let me get another league player here, and put them down, and all that sort of thing. So they've already bowled. They're standing there, they're watching their ball go down the lane. And again, you can jostle it around and it won't move. All right. And so this way it can also be displayed as well. I love the ball racks that they've done, just like the ball racks in the bowling alleys. The nice thing about raising this up, one is that the ball returns now actually are level with these railings, which the ball comes back from the ball return and goes onto the railing. And they're actually level now. Before, in the model as built, it was a little lower, which meant the balls had to kind of come up and jump up onto the railings, which they do in real life in a sense, but this way they come out directly onto them level. So anyway, what I did was I basically added studs to the pins, and I did it on 2 lanes, on the 2 lanes, so that way I could still have the play feature of being able to roll a ball down and knock down the pins. So we'll try that. Let's see. I threw it in the wrong one. There we go. Anyway, see what I mean? Can knock down the pins, right? So this alley here has no studs down on the pins. This alley, no studs on the pins. This alley and this alley have studs on the pins. So that way it looks like somebody's making a strike. Let's see if I can get some more light in here. There we go. It looks like somebody's making a strike, or it looks like somebody's got a spare there. There's a couple spares that people have to make, and that sort of thing. So that way, if you jostle it around, you will move some pins, but at least 2 of the alleys, the pins will stay put. And so I made that change as well. The other change that I made is very minor. I love the fact that this bench here, and this is real retro looking. However, you know, a lot of times in old bowling alleys, you would see this type of bench here, and this bench would be very much of a either the turquoise color or the pink, or this is actually not showing up very well on camera for some reason. It's showing more bluish, but this is more of a turquoise color, and then not so blue. And then this, of course, is dark blue. But I just made this change here and added 2 more of the turquoise strips. What looked blue on this for some reason. I don't know why this all looks blue. That's odd. Anyway, must be my camera, obviously. But anyway, I just kind of like the way that went down and just kind of finished that off. Normally that calls for just a blue tile right there. I did that in a real true retro bowling alley. You would have a big machine here, and that machine would be pink, or usually the same color as the benches, and that would have a light on it. There would be screens that would hang up here, and those screens would show your scores. Now, the nice thing about this set is it did come with a real bowling score tile. So you could, and there you go, if it focuses, you could, and I thought about making from this stud all the way over, making these hang above the alleys like they did in old bowling alleys, in real retro bowling alleys. So I may still do that, but I just wanted to try to be as true as possible to, oh no, pin setter, where are you? Speaking of pin setters, my dad used to be a pin setter way back in the day, back in the 50s. He made some extra money, I believe, by actually they had people back behind the pins that actually set up the pins. That's before they had the machines that came down and automatically set the pins. This would call for somebody coming out in the alleys and grabbing the pin and putting it back and stuff like that. So I love the way they've done the lights on this, and the nice thing is that they added the lights, and the lights correspond with the diamonds. So you have the diamond here behind it, and then you have the light. So if I spin this around, and let me move my lights here, spin this around like this, you can see that where the lights are is exactly where the diamonds are on the other side. So you can see that. There's a light right there. And so I love the way the designers did that. These are good. I like the way they're made. You know, back in the day, in a really old bowling alley, they'd be huge. Now, I want to let you know that there's also a soda machine over here. Chances are, if it's a retro bowling alley, it's a vending machine that produces soda and cigarettes and everything else you can find. But anyway, that's probably just an apple juice machine right now. And it also has, I don't know if these are supposed to be the hand vents where you dry your hands off right before you grab the ball and throw it down the alley, or if those are supposed to be some sort of computerized score machine like they have on current bowling alleys nowadays. This part here comes up, and as you can see, you can tell the ones I have stuck. See, I have these stuck. These not stuck. These not stuck. These stuck. So yeah, so anyway, so you have that down there. I can't put all that down since I made a mess of that bowling alley there. But anyway, you get the idea. This is an absolutely gorgeous model. I love it. I just tried to add a little more touches to it. I think what I'm going to do is take the stud here, and I mean this here and this here, and run across, and then I'm going to hang these up here along with a monitor, and so then that way this will more simulate a retro bowling alley feel, and fit into my Figsdale. And that's really why I made the changes I did, was to fit into Figsdale, not because I was trying to do anything else. I just wanted it really to fit in. I wanted it to be my Figs lanes for my city. And this sign, by the way, this sign is very, very sturdy. It has a pin going up it. You can turn it however you want, depending on what the rotation or what the orientation of your city is and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, I could blather on and on about this, but I won't. I think it's a great designed set, and I have to give many kudos to the designers, the mock builder, and everyone. I've been coveting this set since I've seen it many years ago, and I was hoping that Lego would make a copy of it, and yes, indeed, I'm glad that they finally accepted it into the Bricklink program. So with that said, I hope that you subscribe to this video. I hope that you watch the video on my bowling alley that I built many years ago. That's up in the corner there. You can click on that and like this video. That's how YouTube knows you really like my stuff. And with that, I hope that you have a wonderful day. Stay safe and healthy. And this is Drmcbrick, a member of Bricklink, signing out.